Are you ready to finally take on your first brute, or are you just tired of dying to them? Well, whatever your case may be, here's a bunch of tips and tricks and strategies on how to take out the brute with ease. And we're not doing any sort of cheese method like throwing arrows at it for 2 hours straight. Okay, first things first, just so you know, there is a difference between the brute, the sand brute, and the frost brute, and it is purely just on difficulty level. So the frost brute is gonna have a lot more health than a normal brute, so you might want to try fighting a normal brute before you fight a frost brute. But I'm sure you guys already knew that. So let's go ahead and talk about tip number 1. Keep your health at max. Obviously, you want to have a lot of health, but why do you want to keep it specifically at max? Well, there's a cool tech in LEGO Fortnite where if you are at maximum hearts, you cannot be one-shot. So it doesn't matter if my maximum hearts is 3 or 5 hearts. If I get hit by a move that does 6 hearts of damage, I'm gonna end up at 1/4 of a heart after taking that hit. So you want to keep your health at maximum always. As soon as you get hit, back off and heal. What I recommend as food, just because it's really easy to get, is just some snowberries, and then you can get slurp juice or something if you want regeneration, but I just usually keep a bunch of snowberries on me since they give you 2 hearts in a second. Now, with keeping your health at max, there's one other thing you need to take in consideration, and that is the wonderful weather. Obviously, if it's hot or cold outside, you're gonna take damage over time, and that would be really unfortunate if you took a tick of damage right before you get hit by the brute and get one shot. So for that reason, I'll link a couple videos in the description on how to increase your frost resistance and how to increase your heat resistance. So check those out if you need help. Next up, let's talk weapon. For a normal brute, you can really get away with a green sword. You might consider a blue, and then for the frost brute, I would just try and get an epic longsword. But really, blue is probably the sweet spot where you're good. The epic longsword is just gonna make things go a lot faster. And then a bow is optional, but I personally like just doing melee because when you start fighting it from range, it unlocks 3 new attacks it can do. And we'll get into attacks here in a second. So get that, a bunch of frost berries, and then you can add charms if you want to, but really health charms aren't gonna make a difference unless you can get your health to the threshold to where you can take 2 hits from the brute without dying instead of 1. Since we now know that tech where if you're at max health, it can't one-shot you. Okay, let's talk attacks. So the brute has 5 different attacks it does. It does 3 different attacks at range. The first attack it does is going to be it launches this brick at you and it explodes on impact and leaves a lingering sort of damage. The second one is this charge that it's doing right now. And then the third one it does is this little ground slam. We'll see if it does it. Yep, right there. So it only does those 3 attacks at range. So the range attacks are pretty easy to dodge. You don't have to worry too much about those as long as you're paying attention. But now let's talk about up close. So if we start swinging at it, we can see it has a punch that it does. And then it does a stomp. Now let's go ahead and talk strategy on how to dodge these. On the punch, it's pretty easy. You just gotta wait for it to swing its arm back and then punch. So once it gets to kind of the climax of its swing back, you're ready to dodge. The stomp is the one that's a little bit weird though, because it is very delayed, and this threw me off for a while. What I've found is really just you gotta wait until its leg starts going down. Once its leg goes down, you have enough time to dodge, but a lot of times I found myself dodging way too early and dying. What I have found to be the best and most consistent strategy for attacking it is gonna be 3 hits and then dodge. And that doesn't mean 3 hits and dodge right away. That means you take 3 hits, see what move it's about to do, and then plan accordingly. So if we go in to hit it here, we can see we have 1, 2, 3, and then it swings again. Go back in, 1, 2, 3, swings again, 1, 2, 3, dodge. Just like that. Just 1, 2, 3, dodge. 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 1, 2, 3, dead. Just like that. Obviously, you can get a bunch of charms to make this fight a lot easier, but it really just comes down to making sure you're at full HP, not taking any damage due to the weather, and then doing that 3-hit, 1-dodge attack pattern. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, you might enjoy this video where I make a super simple, fully directional, fully steerable flying machine. So yeah, go ahead and check that one out. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.